Hey guys, welcome to my channel. You're watching Decor Creations, and this is your first time tuning in. Thank you for joining and thank you for watching. If this is not your first time joining my channel, watching my videos, welcome back. And I do hope that you will find it of value to like this video and subscribe. That way you're able to catch all of my content as I'm bringing you everything I can about my sewing journey. The good things, the challenging things, and definitely all the wins. So my family and I are fresh back from a family vacation, and while I am in my sewing room right now, I'm really in between what I want to start working on next in terms of sewing. I shared a couple of ideas with you all in my previous video, so go back and watch that content so you can kind of see where my wheels are turning and things that I want to get done over the next couple of weeks or so. But I'm in between projects, and I thought this would be a perfect time, since my room is somewhat clean, I cleaned it before vacation, that I would give you all a tour of my sewing room. So this video was requested some time ago, and I just never got around to really making it happen. So I want to make sure that while I'm still in between projects but want to maintain my content creation for you all, that I give you something this week. So I'm going to share with you my sewing space and share some of my things and just how I have everything laid out in this room. All right, so as I am sitting here now, I'm trying to decide which angle I want to start this tour. And I'll probably just go ahead and start from my right and work my way around to where I'm sitting right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. All right, so when you first come into my space, when you go to your right, the door's like right over here. But when you go to the right, I walk in and I have my cart. This is like one of the first carts I purchased when I came to the sewing room, and it started out as something to keep all of my sewing tools on, but it quickly became a catch-all for all types of items that I use for sewing. Some Crayola markers here, my stress relief hand lotion, and down here I've just got some little not jars, but little boxes that I got from the thrift store that I also use to house my scissors and things like that. And when I first got started, and I also have on here this bag of balm. It's just a really well-known ointment that a lot of people that craft and use their hands use for moisture. And so this cart here, well, I kind of really don't want to keep it here because I find it's just to collect off everything. It's still here, so yeah, that's that. And this would be my sewing table. I purchased this table from Amazon some time ago when I first transitioned to this space from downstairs. I forgot how much it was, but it wasn't over $100, maybe about $112 or something like that. But I did purchase this white table from Amazon. And under here are my two machines. I have my brother that I use quite often. I use this most. And then I have under here my very first sewing machine, which I purchased from Walmart. And it's this brother here, and I forget the model, but yeah, oh, there it is. It's the JX2517. And then here is my serger, which doesn't get a lot of function, doesn't get a lot of use in this space, but I do have it here, and I've been trying to use it more, but I still need to work on using it a little bit often. So that is what's on my table right now. And then I have this custom, try to bring this out a little bit. Yeah, I've got this custom pegboard that my dad created for me. I don't know the exact dimensions of this pegboard, but I know we purchased the two pegboards and we put them together. Well, I didn't do anything. Like, I went with him to get the material and all, but he did all the construction of this, and he put this frame around it just to give it some, decorative elements. So this is my pegboard. And this is where I keep my abundance of scissors. And I can tell you all that I have a huge collection of scissors, because when I first started sewing, I was trying to decide which brand I like the best. And I can tell you that I have actually used every last one of these scissors at some point in my sewing journey, right? So these are just some little knick-knack things I've kept up here on my board. I keep all of my needles here that I need for sewing, you know, all of my seam rippers and my nips, my snips rather, some rulers here, some marking tools, some pins. I do need to purchase a few more of these little trays here, because I have a Cricut and I want to also keep my Cricut supplies up here as well, but I haven't gotten around to doing that just yet. But this is the board, and yeah, I didn't show you my lamp. I have this one light here I got from Amazon, I'm very sure, and I have another one just like that over here in the corner, right? So that would be my sewing space, and I've got my little trash can there to keep handy, so I can just put things in the trash. There's a shortage of outlets in here that I really need, so I bought this tower from Amazon as well, so I could keep all my items plugged in it right here and handy by my station. All right, so here we have my collection of candles. I told you all that I love a nice candle, so as I grow my candle collection, I do keep those here. And in these drawers, I have my bobbins I kept here, and in here I have just like my pins, lots of different pins. This here is just a little kit that I keep handy for hand sewing. Sometimes I have to do like a quick hand sewing, and I just go ahead and pull that out. And in here, oh, this is just a jewelry making kit. So sometimes I get a little crafty and want to do some jewelry making, and I will go ahead and just pull this off all my jewelry making stuff. All of my thread. This is the collection of thread. Just some books I have here, journals and magazines I purchased over time. And then down here I have all of my patterns that I keep in my binders. These are the actual envelopes. I keep the actual patterns themselves in manila envelopes, and I keep those stored upstairs. So this is just my collection of patterns, well, the partial collection. I'll show you another collection in a minute. And at the very bottom here, I have my library of books. These are all of the books I use or I have made reference to. Well, let me not say I have used. I have not used every book down here, but this is my personal library, my reference for all of my sewing resources. So this is my station or shelf that I keep most of my sewing things on. And I don't think I told you guys or showed you the top of my shelf here, but on the top of my shelf, I purchased some of these items from Hobby Lobby. Just some faith-based, motivational, you know, decorative items for my room. All right, and then here I keep this, well, I don't keep, but this is another one of my motivational pictures. I got this at a thrift store. My colors in my room are the teal, the gray, the white, gold. So this was perfect, so I purchased that. So down here on the floor, these are most of what I use in terms of when I am ready to store my patterns. I keep my manila envelopes here, and yeah, and that's another box of thread actually. I think I purchased that thread online or from Etsy, but it's just an assortment of different colors, different color thread. And here is my ironing board station. So my iron is right here to the left, but this is everything I pretty much use in terms of my ironing. You'll see all of my like static guard and things like that. I was actually trying to find my static guard and could not find it, and now I see where it's been hiding. But yes, my static guard. I've got my hem tape, not my hem tape, my hot hem ruler. Yeah, it's called a hot ironing ruler. That's here. So basically everything I need for the purpose of ironing is kept on. And here is my ironing station, or my ironing board itself. And I've got some more motivational hangings here. I also got this from the thrift store at the same time I was able to purchase the other one that says positive mind, positive vibes, positive life. I purchased these frames from, I think, Walmart, and I used my Cricut to create these two motivational sayings here. So blessed and so crafty. And I actually want to change those out pretty soon, so I need to work on trying to think about what I want to do next in terms of colors and what else I want to put there. That's my ring light, and that is the light that I keep right here at my ironing station. And I do have a video where I'm sharing with you guys my review on this lamp. It's really, really, really nice. Now, in this closet, y'all, well, yeah, it's a closet. Although I do have these panel curtains hanging from it because the doors that were on here were very old and they just were not functional. So I took those down and I put these nice curtains up. But in here is the out of control fabric stash. And I'm gonna show y'all this. This right here is out of control. It's out of control. And this is not even all of it. It's not all of it, but I've got an abundance of fabric here, and I really feel like I am not going to be purchasing any fabric for a long time because I want to really start working through my stash. Definitely. All right, so over here is just my little TV, and this is a built-in like desk space. And what I did was had someone come in and paint this entire room because it was a dark brown. If you go back to my other videos from the past, you'll see that this room was dark brown, and I had someone come in and paint it and just brighten it up a little bit. So when they came in and did that, I had them do this table for me or paint this desk for me. And in these drawers, I just keep some of my sewing items. So in here, you'll see my elastic. In this drawer, there's more elastic. So I have lots of elastic. And in this drawer at the very bottom, I have all of my bias tape stash. This space really, really comes in handy because I don't have to have an extra, space to house all of my items. In here, I keep all my zippers. And I'll step over and I'll show you all. This is just ribbon and some items that I can use for like, if I want to do like the, not sublimation, but if I want to do the hot press or like put these items on my shirts, I can just go ahead and do that. I forget what they're called. My mind is slipping right now. And this is just the overflow of just some essentials that I keep for sewing. Refills from my pens, another sliding gauge. Got some marking pens, drits. So just a couple of items all in here as well. And these are my blades for all of my rotary cutters. And then at the very bottom, I've got like my my tape. I forget what you call these things. Oh, webbing. These are all my webbings and things like that, because at some point I want to start making bags, tote bags, and I purchased these from Joann Fabrics when they were going out of business. So that's that. And the very bottom here is all of my closure type things. So if it's a button or hook and eye, Velcro, anything except for zippers is kept here in this drawer. So this is how I organize most of my notions in my sewing space. These are my irons. Have a hot have a steamer. That's the iron I use for my sewing projects. In the very back there, you'll see my Eliso. That doesn't come out as often because I find that it doesn't get as hot as I like it to get. But this is one of my irons. And that little blue sewing machine, my stepmom gave that to me some time ago. And I haven't quite figured out how to use it. It's just a little mini sewing machine. And in fact, I think it's missing a part. But I do like it. I like the color. If for anything, if I can't actually use it, it's nice to have it here just for color and to accentuate, my decor in my sewing room. Although it's under my desk, it's here. And you all know about my candle situation. I love candles, so I keep my candle space here. And that is another picture that I purchased from the thrift store. And I got that the same time that I purchased the other two that says do what you love. All right, so now let us get into my my table. So this is my sewing table. Again, another Amazon purchase. I keep my 2 mats on it. I purchased these little clips here just to keep the mats in place. These are not the best. I got these from a dollar store, but I find that my mat will sometimes still slip, so I think I'm gonna have to go to like a Harbor Freight and get something more heavy duty at some point, but I use those for now. And then under here I keep all of my pattern weights. Oh, there's another iron. That iron, my Panasonic, is a wireless iron, and I don't use it as much anymore because I find that I have to constantly put it back on the plate for it to maintain the heat. So I don't pull it out as much as I used to when I began sewing, but I do like having it here as a backup if I need it for anything. But under here are all of my pattern making, pattern drafting supplies. I keep under here everything that I need for paper patterns. Scissors, rotary cutters. I keep that stuff separate from what I use for my fabric itself. And I have my my tape, not tape, but the paper you use for your pattern markings. I can't think of the name right now, but that's kept back there as well. I have an abundance of fabric and pattern weights. I keep those here. They have to find a new home at some point because what's under here is going to get moved. It's actually sitting on top of something I need to unbox. So at some point I need to find a new place to put these. So yeah, thinking about that. Let me go back though, because I told you all that I keep my another place where I can store my patterns. All right, so under my table I keep this tote of patterns when I'm just not in the mood to unpackage my patterns and put them in the sheet protectors or the manila folders. I will just simply put them in here, and I just have to remember that they're here, and sometimes I can find myself forgetting. But let me open it up and I will show you all. So these are a lot of the patterns I had purchased recently. Well, not recently, but remember when New Look had that 99-cent sale? I went and purchased a lot of the 99-cent patterns, and I just had these little tabs just so I can know, where to start if I'm looking for pants or skirts or shirts and things like that. Patterns that are unisex in nature. And then I did at some point do some unpackaging and putting my patterns in envelopes, and those had not gotten filed upstairs yet. So just being lazy, I just went ahead and put them all in here. So now for the most part, all of my patterns are being kept in here or in my upstairs with the reference binder that contains the actual envelopes themselves. All right, so that right there, you already know what that is. It's just more fabric that needs to find a home. that I need to be making something with. My little trash can, and this is just my fabric scrap stash that I also need to be going through and trying to de-stash at some point in the very, very near future. All right, so back to the other side of my room. All right, so when I'm doing my videos and filming, I'm also sitting in front of another closet. Same thing, it had doors on it. I took the doors off and just put these curtains up. I like the look better. And again, it's fabric in here, but there are also some other items other than fabric, though you can't see them. They're back there. I have like some of my Happy Planner stickers in the back. This is really the place where a lot of my remnant fabrics have been going, and things I want to use for like creating toiles and things like that. They all go in here. And it's not as in order as I want it to be, but yeah, that is just more fabric. And my Cricut is in here, guys. It's in here in this little green bag. I keep her in there. And in this drawer, I don't go in here often, but this is where I was keeping some of my crafting supplies. Not my crafting. In this drawer here, I was keeping a lot of my crochet supplies. I have some yarn in here, some needles and things like that. So that has its own separate home. Here is the other lamp I was telling you all about. I have two of these in my room now, one for my ironing station, and then I also have one that I can pull closer to my sewing table that gives me lots of extra light that I need in my room. This drafting chair, it's not my favorite chair, but I do use it sometimes when I'm recording my videos. I forgot why I purchased the drafting chair. I know this started downstairs and made its way upstairs. Again, it's one of the first things I purchased when I started sewing downstairs. And I feel like I got this now because the height of my sewing table downstairs was just really high. And I needed something to sit on. I thought I needed something to sit on. And this drafting chair gave me the height that I needed. Now it's in here. It still gives me a little bit of height, but it's not, I don't use it a whole lot. Really, like if I'm just recording a video, I might use it, but other than that, I don't always sit in it. So you all know this board, you've seen it before, but I hang some of my works in progress here. These works here are no longer in progress and need to find a home. Most likely it will be a scrap home, but I was using these toiles here as I was working on the Ogden cami, and they just haven't found a new home just yet, so I'll have to remove those pretty soon. This blue board here, so my dad, when I first really got into sewing seriously, he helped create a sewing table for me. And what I did was got some wood, or he purchased some wood, and we were able to put batting on the bottom of it, and then we covered the batting with fabric, and he stapled it in the back for me, and this became the board that I used, that I put on two of the horses, I think you call them. And this was my table. This was my very first sewing table, and I would put my mats on it, and this is what I used downstairs. So this thing is heavy. It is very heavy. It's very sturdy. It will never leave my sewing space. It's very sentimental to me, and no, it's not my color scheme, but I do love it, and I'm going to continue to keep it in here. I might consider just covering it at some point with a different color, but this is something that I take a lot of pride in because my dad did this for me, and I love it a lot. So I use it as a backdrop to my videos sometimes, and you guys may have even seen, like I said, some of my items hanging off of it. So that's why that's there. And then I actually made and created these pictures at the top. I love animal print, And as I told you all, my room, the colors are this teal green with the white, gold, and this is the only thing I think I have in here that's black in terms of accent color, but it does, you know, bring out my room a little bit. So I simply took some picture frames, covered the plastic or the glass in fabric, and then I for the one in the middle, I just hot glued some flowers around it just to kind of, you know, make it like a 3D type picture or hanging. So behind my door is yet another pegboard, and this is where I keep all of my rulers hanging so that they're nice and straight, and I just have to go behind my door, pick out a ruler, and keep it moving. I thought this was a great way to just kind of keep all my rulers in one place, and really, really handy. And again, this is something that my dad hung up for me and got me situated in. I got the hooks from Amazon, and I purchased these little clips here to hang the rulers that don't have holes in it. I just purchased these clips from the dollar store. All right, so that will conclude my sewing room tour. If there is something that you want to know more about in my room that I did not go into detail, please comment below. Let me know if there was anything in here that gave you an idea for how to maintain your sewing room space. If you have any ideas for things I can do to better maintain my sewing room space, I'm open to any kind of feedback or suggestions that you all have to share. The one thing I didn't tell you all was how big my room was. I can't believe I forgot that important detail. So I'm not good at measurements at all, but my dad, and I think my husband also told me that my room is about 160 square feet. 160 square feet. So it's not a big space. It's not a big space at all. This actually used to be a small guest room, and we haven't had guests at my home for a while. So I just decided just to convert it to, well, I didn't decide alone. My husband agreed that I could convert this room to a dedicated sewing space, and I am grateful that I'm able to do that. Have a place to come and have all of my sewing things here, and sometimes my family will come in and they'll crowd my room. They'll sit in the drafting chair I showed you all. Somebody will sit in the drafting chair, or someone will sit in the sewing room chair, and somebody might sit on the floor. So every once in a while it gets a little tight in here, but it's okay because it's my family and I love them dearly. But yes, this is my sewing room. I love it, and I hope again that this video was helpful, that you all find something of value. And please don't forget to comment below if you have anything to share. And I want to thank you for watching and coming along with me on this tour. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed to my videos and this channel, please take the time to do so now. Click that button below, like and subscribe. Make sure that you hit the all notifications, that way you're getting all of my content. Until we come together again, take care and God bless.